Today you will learn how to build an app that adds two numbers together. Once you've logged into MIT App Inventor, go ahead and click on Start New Project to create your new project, and let's call this Project Addition. Click OK. And now you're going to be in the designer mode. So what we're going to do first is you're going to go to the user interface palette over here, and you're going to look for text box. Click on text box and drag it to the screen viewer. And now let's go over to the component section. Make sure that text box 1 is highlighted, and let's go ahead and rename this number box 1. This is where the user will enter the first number of the addition problem. Click OK. Now let's go ahead and move over to the Properties panel on the right, and let's set the hint. Let's set the hint for this component as enter first number. And for font size, let's set that at 30. Click enter. Now we're going to use a plus sign. So let's look over here, right under user interface, and let's look for label. Label is basically a text box that the user can't input text in. We're going to use this for the plus sign. Let's go ahead and under components rename this plus. Click OK. And right under properties, let's go ahead and set the font size to 30 again for visibility. And the text will be plus. Enter. Notice how that changed on our screen. Now we're going to need a text box for the second number in our addition problem. So right under user interface, click on text box and drag it over here. Let's move over to components, make sure it's highlighted, and let's rename this number box 2. Click OK. And in the properties panel, over here on the right side under hint, let's put in enter second number and font size to 30 as well. Enter. Let's go ahead and take a look at our screen. So we have our two numbers, our plus sign. What do you think is missing? The equal sign. So let's go over right under user interface, and we're going to select button. Let's click on button and drag it over here. Under components, let's rename this to solve button. Okay. And this button will be used to calculate the sum of the two numbers that the user enters. Let's go over under properties, and right under text, we're going to put in the equal sign. Font size 30 as well. Enter. Now we still need one more item. We need a spot for the answer to appear. So let's go over right under user interface and let's select label. So click and drag. This will be where the sum will be displayed once the user clicks on the equal button in the app. Let's go over to the right and make sure that label 1 is highlighted, and let's go ahead and rename this answer. Click OK. And under properties, font size will be 30. And we want it to appear blank starting off. So let's get rid of any text under text. Let's delete that. Enter. So now we have all the components for this Addition app. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the blocks mode and we're going to start programming. So let's click on blocks. Now the first thing that we need to do is have a way to store the values that the user puts into the text boxes. In order to do that, we're going to use variables. And the reason why we're going to use variables under blocks is because we need to allow for a variety of values that the user can enter. The answer will be different depending on what the user enters. So I'm going to click the variables option, and the list of the related blocks will show up. The one that we want to select is initialize global name 2. It's right here, the first one. So let's click on it and drag it to the work area. Initializing variables in coding is another way of saying creating variables. We're choosing this block because we want to hold the numbers here for our text boxes. Now remember, we have 2 numbers in our addition problem, so we're going to go back and select another one. One variable will store the number entered in number box 1, and the second one will store the number entered in number box 2. Let's go ahead and click on the highlighted name box on the first block, and let's rename it to number 1. And the variable that's going to store the second number, we're going to call that number 2. Now let's go back to our blocks panel and click on Solve button. And let's drag When Solve button click block. That's the first one. Let's click on it and drag it to the screen. This block will be our functionality for the Solve button. Now, in order to do the actual addition, we need to be able to set the variable numbers to the numbers from the text boxes. So let's go ahead, hover the mouse over the name of each variable until a little menu appears. Select and drag out the set global number 1. Here it is. Let's select it and drag it out. And set global number 2. There we go. Now, the app also needs to be able to get the text from the text box. And in order to do that, we need to select and drag a variable from the number box component. So let's go ahead and click on the first one. And let's scroll all the way down to number box 1 text. Here it is. Click and drag it. We're going to do the same thing for number box 2. So let's scroll down and look for number box 2 text. And it's right over here. And we're going to attach these blocks to the set global number 2. So we're going to attach this over here. And we're going to attach this one to set global number 2. Notice how it makes sense for them to fit together in this way. This is similar to the last lesson where we set the text color of our text box to a color of our choosing. Here we need to set the value entered in number 1 to the number found in number box 1, as well as set the value entered in number 2 to the number found in number box 2. Doing this will basically save the number we enter to the text box. Now we're going to insert the blocks we just attached into the notch within the When Solve button click. So let's go ahead and take the first one and insert it right here, and the second one, and we're going to insert it right under this one. You may notice at this point that we have a few warnings. This is due to the fact that our variables don't have default values. They need default values in case the user doesn't enter any numbers into the text boxes and then hits the solve button. So for our default value, we will use 0. Let's go ahead and click on Math under Blocks. And in this Blocks menu, we're going to select the number block, 0. We're going to drag 2 copies of this. Let's go back to Math and grab another one. And we're going to attach them to the ends of initialize global value blocks. Here's another one. Now we have the values from our text boxes stored in our variables. Next, we need to add them together. So in order to do that, let's go to the Math menu under Blocks, and let's drag that block onto the screen. There it is, the addition. Now, in order to add 2 things together, we need 2 things to begin with. We will add the numbers stored in our 2 variables. In order to access those numbers, we need to get them from our variables. Similar to how we got the set block from our variables, we will be clicking and dragging the 2 get blocks from these variables. So here's our first block. Let's hover over number 2, and we're going to get the second one. And we're going to attach each one of these blocks into the addition block. So here's the first one, get number 1. We're going to attach it right here before the plus sign. And get global number 2 block, we're going to attach it right over here after the addition sign. There we go. Now, in order to display the result that this addition calculates, we need to set the text of the answer label we created earlier to the result of our addition. Now, to do that, let's go to the Blocks menu and select Answer. Let's click on Answer. And we're going to drag out the Set Answer Text 2 block. And here it is. Right over here. Set Answer Text 2. And now what we want to do is attach the addition block to the notch in this block over here. There we go. Notice how it makes sense to fit these together. We're setting the text of the answer label to say the result of our addition. Now finally, let's go ahead and insert this entire block into our When Solve button click, right over here at the bottom. There we go. And this is what our block screen should look like at the end. To review, we have 2 variables that represent the numbers the user enters into the text boxes. They have a default value of 0 to prevent the app from crashing when the user doesn't enter any numbers and clicks the button. Now, when the user clicks the solve button, we get the numbers the user enters into the text boxes and set that number to the number of our variables so we can do the math with them. Afterwards, we add these numbers from the variables together and set the result as the text of answer so the user can see the result.